Scorpio, something strange is about to happen at home, and this shift will lead you directly into a divine turn of fortune. This is not metaphor. This is not fantasy. This is the unmistakable vibration of destiny brushing against your door, gently, but firmly. Over the next 3 days from September 30th to October 2nd, the universe is preparing to shake the ground you call familiar, not to destroy it, but to initiate a personal resurrection. Have you felt it lately? That soft, uneasy stirring inside your space. It doesn't feel like fear. It feels like something sacred approaching, something that asks you to pay attention without knowing why. If that's where you are, this message has found you at the perfect time. And that's no coincidence. There's a divine reason why you landed on this video today. I invite you to pause, breathe deeply, and lean in. Because within the next few moments, you'll come to understand that what may feel like an interruption at home, a sudden conversation, a break in energy, or a surprising event is actually a cosmic key turning in your favor. You may feel called to leave, to distance yourself physically or emotionally. But Scorpio, listen closely, what you'll return to will not be the same. You will come back transformed. And so will your fortune. September 30th begins with the moon passing through Gemini, creating mental confusion, emotional duality, and questions around safety and stability. But October 1st shifts the moon into Cancer, the sign of home, memory, and divine mothering, offering restoration. Then, on October 2nd, Pluto, your ruling planet, forms a rare and healing trine with Mercury. That is the moment clarity breaks through. That is when God reveals what your heart already suspected but could not yet name. You didn't come here just to survive disruptions. You came to alchemize them into gold. Scorpio, if you're still with me, it's because your soul is recognizing its own truth in these words. And before we go any deeper, let me take a moment to honor your presence. Your time, your openness, and your curiosity, they matter. I want to thank you sincerely for being here. Every like, every comment, every subscription not only supports this channel miracle of the sign but sends out a ripple of intention into the universe. You are part of something greater than just a video. You are co-creating your healing, your timeline, and your miracle. And I promise you, if you stay until the very end of this message, you will not leave empty-handed. What the universe is about to unveil through this message is not ordinary. It is a sacred echo of alignment, and I don't want you to miss it. So tell me, Scorpio, what was it that led you here today? Was it a whisper in your chest? A dream? A feeling you couldn't explain? Whatever brought you here, trust it. And if anything I've said so far resonates with you even slightly, I want you to write this in the comments right now. I feel the shift. I'm ready to receive what's meant for me. That one sentence becomes your affirmation. A prayer. A vibration that God and the universe can respond to. So take a moment and declare it below. Stay with me. We're just getting started. Because in the next few minutes, we're going to explore exactly what this shift inside your home means, why you must step away, and how the blessings waiting for you will bring you back stronger, clearer, and far more aligned than ever before. Let's begin. It often begins in ways too quiet to name, a certain heaviness in the air, a moment of stillness that lingers longer than it should, a conversation that feels out of sync even if the words seem normal. Scorpio, when something sacred is shifting inside your home, it rarely announces itself with thunder. It comes first as subtle friction. The furniture doesn't sit right anymore. The rooms feel smaller. Even your favorite corner may no longer feel like refuge. And yet, none of this is random. It is the soul's gentle way of calling your attention to a space you've outgrown, both literally and energetically. From September 30th through October 2nd, the cosmos is guiding you through a layered emotional recalibration. On the first day, with the moon moving through Gemini, confusion arises. Gemini is curious, scattered, mentally charged, but emotionally, it can spark misunderstandings, especially within the home. You might find yourself questioning why things feel disconnected, or you may witness miscommunications arise between you and those you live with. But don't react too quickly, because this is not the chaos of destruction, it is the disorientation that precedes clarity. By October 1st, the moon enters Cancer, a deeply intuitive sign that rules the home, the mother, and emotional memory. This lunar transition softens the energy and brings you back into your heart space. Memories may surface. Nostalgia might bloom unexpectedly. You could find yourself reflecting on what home used to mean to you, and how that definition is quietly evolving. Emotions flow easier under Cancer's influence, and if you lean in with compassion, this is the moment healing begins. It's not about fixing others. It's about hearing what your soul has been trying to say beneath the noise, that your inner foundation is ready for renewal. And then comes the breakthrough. On October 2nd, your ruling planet Pluto forms a rare trine with Mercury, the planet of communication and perception. Trines are harmonious angles. They don't push, they open. This particular cosmic alignment acts like a divine translator. Suddenly, the scattered fragments start connecting. The strange behavior, the off-balance energy, the emotional flashbacks, they all begin to make sense. The truth reveals itself, not as an external verdict, but as an internal knowing. You'll understand what needs to be released. You'll know why a certain distance is necessary. And you'll also sense that stepping away, whether from a routine, mindset, a dynamic, or even a place, is not an abandonment, but an alignment. You see, the universe doesn't shake your home to punish you. It stirs your environment to remind you that you are not meant to remain in spaces that no longer reflect the magnitude of your becoming. Think of it like a sacred pruning, painful at first, but essential for growth. Just as gardeners trim away old branches so the tree can bear sweeter fruit, your life is being trimmed of what is no longer in resonance. And that includes energy. That includes emotion. That includes history. There's a passage in scripture that speaks to this beautifully. Unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it produces much fruit. That is the energy of these 3 days. Something within you or within your household may feel like it's falling away. But trust that it is only falling into place. Scorpio, you are not being uprooted, you are being repositioned. Not just for survival, but for abundance, peace, and inner truth. You are not losing your home, you are becoming a new foundation for yourself and for others. And perhaps the most profound part of this journey is this: what you're returning to won't just look different, you will be different. More whole. More awake. More aligned. Stay open to the signs, stay grounded in grace, and remember, the space that feels like it's falling apart might be the one being prepared to hold your next miracle. There are moments in life when everything we've built, everything we've trusted, seems to fracture in a single breath. Not because we failed, not because we weren't enough, but because the time has come for a deeper truth to emerge. In this next layer of your journey, Scorpio, the energy of the card speaks not of endings, but of initiations. When the Tower appears, it often strikes fear. It's a card of upheaval, of sudden change, of systems collapsing without warning. And yet, in the hands of divine timing, the Tower is never here to punish, it's here to realign. What looks like destruction is simply the removal of what can no longer support the version of you that's trying to emerge. It is grace in disguise. You may feel as though something foundational in your life is shaking, perhaps a relationship, a role, a structure you've depended on. The disruption is real. But what if this shaking is not the end? What if it is the sound of a door unlocking? That's the quiet message woven into the chaos. Transformation is in motion, not in theory, but in form. And right on the heels of the Tower, we find the Empress, the great symbol of rebirth, abundance, nourishment, and divine creativity. Where one foundation crumbles, another awakens. And this time, it is softer. It holds you differently. It is rooted not in survival, but in soul alignment. The Empress is not simply a card of comfort, she is the answer to the question you didn't even know you were asking. She whispers, you are still worthy. You are still whole. And this life, even now, wants to give to you. In her presence, you are reminded that something beautiful can grow from the rubble. Healing doesn't always look like light pouring in through stained glass. Sometimes it looks like dirt beneath your nails as you begin to plant again. And in this moment, what you plant, your intention, your courage, your willingness to release, will bear fruit far richer than you expect. Then comes Ace of Pentacles, the divine promise. A new beginning, tangible and grounded, emerging from where the pain once lived. Often, this card appears when a physical blessing is ready to enter your life, an opportunity, a gift, a shift in financial or material stability. And yet, the gift doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from the very place you once wanted to walk away from. That job, that home, that season of uncertainty, it becomes the soil for unexpected reward. Because sometimes, it is not the environment that changes first, it is you. And when you change, the environment responds. That's how energetic alignment works. What if the breakdown you're experiencing isn't a punishment, but a sacred preparation? What if the space being cleared is making room for the answer you've been praying for? The universe does not remove without purpose. It does not rearrange unless something better is on the way. So take this moment not as a signal to fear, but as a signal to listen. To watch. To remain open. Scorpio, you've likely experienced moments where everything fell apart only to realize, in hindsight, that life was falling into place. Can you recall such a time? If so, I invite you to share that story in the comments below. You never know whose darkness your light may guide. And if you're in the middle of that storm now, let this remind you, the cards are not here to scare you. They're here to affirm that nothing is being lost without something greater coming to take its place. Let the Tower fall. Let the Empress hold you. And let the Ace of Pentacles bless the ground where you choose to rise again. Numbers are not just numbers. For those who have learned to listen, they are messengers, subtle, precise, and divinely timed. Scorpio, as we move deeper into this energetic shift happening around and within you, you'll notice that certain numbers begin to repeat. They might appear on license plates, receipts, the clock, or in messages you receive at seemingly random moments. But there is no such thing as coincidence in a universe this intelligent. When a number returns over and over again, it is not just a pattern, it's a coded whisper from the universe, inviting you to pay attention. The number 3 often shows up when we're being guided into motion. It's the number of expansion, forward movement, and spiritual growth. In numerology, 3 resonates with the energy of creativity, expression, and divine unfolding. When this number shows up repeatedly, whether it's 303 on a clock, or a street address ending in 3, it can mean you are being encouraged to move, to speak, to create, or to walk away from what is too small for your becoming. You may not yet know the destination, but the number 3 doesn't require a map. It simply asks for trust. Then comes the number 8. Strong, symmetrical, infinite. 8 is the number of karmic cycles, divine justice, and energetic return. When this number appears, it is often a sign that you are either completing a lesson or receiving a long-awaited reward. It holds the vibration of power, mastery, and balance. In the physical realm, 8 is deeply tied to finances, abundance, and manifestation. But its deeper meaning lies in spiritual fairness, that what has been given without recognition, what has been endured without praise, what has been sacrificed without applause will be returned. Not always in the way we expect, but always in the form we most need. And then, 10. A number that feels like both a full stop and a fresh breath. In many systems, 10 represents completion and ending of a cycle, yes, but also the quiet opening of a new path. It contains both the 1 and the 0, symbolizing leadership, initiation, and infinite potential. When you see 1010, 103, or 310, ask yourself, what part of your life is closing with love, and what part is asking to be born? These numbers are not random. They are signposts, nudges, gentle confirmations from the energetic field that surrounds your every step. Sometimes the universe speaks through emotion, sometimes through symbols, and other times through mathematics of the soul. You might find yourself walking past a parked car and noticing 810 on the license plate. You may get a text at exactly 3:03, or hear the doorbell ring at 10:08. These are not just moments in time. They are intersections of energy, asking you to pause and realign. To breathe. To receive. To remember that you're not just witnessing change, you are participating in a divine sequence that is unfolding with elegant precision. So let me ask you something real and simple, Scorpio. What number has been chasing you lately? What sequence keeps showing up, even when you try to ignore it? I invite you to write it in the comments right now, not just to share, but to activate. To put it into the field. Because the moment we speak our signs aloud, we begin to partner with them. We move from passive observer to conscious creator. From wondering if it's real, to recognizing that it absolutely is. Let the numbers be your gentle guides. Not just digits, but mirrors of energy. And as you notice them more, you'll find that you are not alone on this path. The rhythm of the universe is walking with you, one number, one moment, one breath at a time. When life asks you to pause, when it gently removes what once felt secure or familiar, it is not always a sign of loss. Often, it is preparation. Scorpio, the energy surrounding you now is not meant to break you down, but to open a sacred doorway inside you that perhaps has been closed for a long time. And to walk through it, you must create space both within and around you. This is where ritual becomes medicine. Not grand gestures, not spiritual theatrics, but simple, intentional acts that allow your soul to speak louder than your fear. Color, for example, is more than aesthetic. It is vibration. Energy. A frequency you wear, you see, you invite. In this moment of transition, sapphire violet becomes a quiet ally. This isn't just a shade of purple, it's the hue of inner sight, the frequency of clarity. When you wear or surround yourself with sapphire tones, you're signaling to the universe and to your own body that you are choosing insight over illusion. It heightens the intuitive field and strengthens your connection to what your logical mind may not fully grasp yet. Try bringing this color into your space, perhaps in a scarf, a candle, a journal. Let it become a visual mantra of your openness. Lighting a white candle is another powerful, yet subtle, act. White represents purity. Not perfection, but openness. It's an invitation to new energy. The flame doesn't demand answers, it just holds space. When you light that candle, don't rush. Let your breath slow down. Let your thoughts settle like snowflakes falling into silence. This is a moment of energetic reset. You are not asking the universe to fix you. You are simply showing up with willingness to receive what is already moving in your favor. Pair this with a gentle practice at night, something as simple as 5 minutes of stillness before sleep. You can sit with your hands over your heart or resting gently on your lap. Close your eyes. Feel your breath. Not to control it, but to witness it. To return home to the space within your body that's never stopped beating, even when your heart was heavy. These few minutes are not about erasing anxiety or demanding peace. They are about remembering that your body is a wise companion. One that often knows what your mind has been too busy to hear. You might find, as you move through these quiet practices, that your emotions begin to soften. That the ache you couldn't name begins to lose its edge. When that happens, nourish your nervous system with care. A cup of warm chamomile tea, so simple, so overlooked, can become an offering. It doesn't have to be expensive, dramatic, or deeply esoteric. Healing often lives in the little things. In how you treat yourself when no one is watching. In how gently you speak to your own soul. And here's something I want to ask you, Scorpio. Something only you can answer with honesty. Are you willing to let a blessing enter your life through the very door where pain once walked in? Sometimes the space of deepest disappointment becomes the soil where new fortune quietly roots itself. Are you ready to welcome that? If this resonates, if your heart whispered yes even before your mind caught up, write this in the comments. I am ready to receive the fortune hidden in what I once feared. Let that be your commitment, not to me, but to yourself. You are not just surviving this transformation. You are partnering with it. And your rituals, however small, are becoming the architecture of your rebirth. There comes a time in every sacred journey when you are asked not just to believe in something greater but to believe in yourself. Scorpio, by now, you've walked through subtle signs and silent shifts. You've witnessed how the outer world begins to rearrange when your inner world starts to listen. But this final part of your current transformation isn't about waiting for the universe to deliver something miraculous. It's about making a conscious choice to stand beside yourself fully, truthfully, without apology. Healing doesn't happen because you've earned it through suffering. It happens because you choose to stop abandoning your own needs in order to be loved, accepted, or seen. You don't need to bleed for belonging. You don't need to shrink so that others can feel big. You don't need to carry emotional debts that were never yours to begin with. The deepest healing happens when you decide to stop negotiating your worth. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to stop betraying yourself to maintain a version of peace that's rooted in suppression. There's a quiet kind of faith that lives in this part of the path, the kind that doesn't demand you to know how everything ends, but simply invites you to keep showing up. Not for outcomes. For alignment. For wholeness. Choosing yourself isn't dramatic. Sometimes it looks like turning your phone off and resting. Sometimes it means walking away from conversations that drain your light. Other times, it's saying something that terrifies you because truth always rattles the cages we've kept ourselves in. And yet, truth is where the key lies. In your relationships, this means being honest, not cruel, but clear. What are you holding on to because it once felt safe, but now feels small? Love that requires you to abandon your truth isn't love. It's fear in costume. Let it fall away. In your work, ask yourself if what you're doing truly nourishes your energy. Not every obligation is sacred. Not every routine is sustainable. Your burnout is not a badge of honor. Your exhaustion is not evidence of dedication. It's a signal from your soul. Something needs to shift. Financially, take inventory of where your resources are flowing. Energy and money are not separate ethereal currents of trust. Don't hoard out of fear. Don't give from guilt. Flow your resources in alignment with what truly serves your life now. Let go of items, subscriptions, or habits that clutter your space or your energy field. Make room for what's real. For what's next. And for your physical and emotional well-being. Return to simplicity. Drink more water than you think you need. Go to bed when your body first asks. Reduce your caffeine, not to punish yourself, but to come home to calm. These are not wellness trends. These are energetic realignments. They're the smallest way of saying, I matter. My body is not a machine. My mind deserves stillness. So I ask you gently, Scorpio, are you ready to stop waiting for someone else to choose you, and start choosing yourself instead? Are you willing to become the anchor you've been hoping to find in someone else? Because the truth is, faith doesn't require clarity. It requires commitment. Not to someone else's version of your life, but to your own. If this resonates with you, if you feel the soft tug of truth under your ribs, write this in the comments right now. I choose myself. I commit to honoring what I need. Let this be your vow. Let it be real. Let it be the turning point. Not because it's loud, but because it's yours. Scorpio, if you've made it this far, something deep inside you has already begun to shift. Not just in thought, but in frequency, in willingness, in quiet agreement with your own becoming. Everything we've explored together, every energy pattern, every astrological cue, every sacred invitation disguised as discomfort has led you to this exact moment. You are not here by accident. You are not watching this by chance. You are standing on the edge of a gentle transformation, and the next step is yours to take. The truth is, over the next 3 days, you may find yourself pulled away from something familiar. A situation, a dynamic, a role you've played for far too long. But remember this, you are not leaving something behind. You are returning to yourself. Stronger. Clearer. Richer not only in material ways, but in clarity, in confidence, in calm. This isn't an escape. It's a return. To who you were always meant to be, beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the performance of being okay. And the path to this return? It isn't paved with pressure or perfection. It's built on small, sacred choices. Wearing the colors that reconnect you to your inner wisdom. Lighting the candle not to fix your life, but to honor the light that's already within. Letting go of what weighs heavy not because you're ready but because your soul is. Practicing silence. Drinking more water. Making room. Let me ask you something softly, from one seeker to another. What if this very moment, this very breath, this the beginning of everything changing? Would you allow it in? Would you be willing to believe that something good, something deeply aligned, could be on its way? Even if it doesn't look like you expected it to? What if what you're releasing is making space for the very thing you once prayed for in silence? If you feel even the slightest yes rising in your chest, I invite you now to speak it into motion. Not with fear, but with faith. Write in the comments, I am ready to leave, so I can return to who I truly am. Let that be your vow. Let it be your activation. You don't need to understand every step ahead. You only need to take the next one with intention. And if this video brought you clarity, comfort, or even a moment of peace, I gently ask you to like it, not just for the algorithm, but as a signal to yourself that you are showing up for your healing. Share it with someone you love, someone who may also need a reminder that the storm therein might be the beginning of their greatest return. And subscribe to Miracle of the Sign so that whenever your soul needs a gentle nudge, a whispered truth, or a moment of alignment, you know where to find it. Thank you for spending your precious time here. Thank you for your heart, your presence, your quiet courage. And until we meet again, may you walk forward with grace, may you trust the unfolding, and may you always remember, the light you're looking for might just be the one you're carrying.